Hi everyone, welcome to today's short session. If you want to watch the full version where I cover Bitcoin and a few other cryptos today with my high-level thoughts on the market and Bitcoin's little rally here, make sure to become a newsletter subscriber by clicking the link below. Apart from that, let's crack in and I'll get you my cherry ripe, one to watch, and danger zone. It just has to be XMR or aka Monero. If you weren't aware, Monero is a privacy coin. It's delisted from most major exchanges, Kraken and KuCoin, but it is technically such a beautiful chart just to look at and marvel. This is the weekly chart, essentially a 10-year compression under this core level, which was all-time high, which had not been beaten until today. Well, the last 2 weeks rather, but this strong weekly close through this resistance level is the stuff dreams are made of. For me, this is going higher, and where I generally think this does go is by using a Fibonacci extension tool, which I'll just drag back. So I go from the low to the high and also to the pullback there. And I think 1.618 is a great first stop for XMR. It's about 880 to 900 level. Then we might see some consolidation, but here this is a beautiful breakout, and you can see this move straight up, and then most people are just expecting it to come back to buy, whereas it just continues on. And that's what can happen when you look at weekly time frames and you see that higher time frame confirmation, which is really, really beautiful. So I don't really know where you'd be buying this. I would have been buying it honestly on that weekly close through there, but didn't want to speculate on this crypto. I wanted to buy a spot, but couldn't get it. But it's a beautiful trade. If it does come back to these kinds of levels around 550, 600, that's more where I might get interested. But ultimately, I think you need to wait for this to slow down or give you a consolidation area. This has a lot of room to run, so really, really like this. But using even on a short-term time frame, maybe on the weekly time frame rather, but a Fibonacci retracement. Where could it come back? 0.618, 0.5 in really strong moves. I think 0.5 is probably the extent you get. You might get a 596, 600. I get interested in some of those Fibonacci retracements for potentially that move higher. So that's just a beautiful chart. Wanted to share it with you, and that's my cherry ripe. One to watch is Solana. This could very easily turn into a cherry ripe. It's trying to flip resistance into support. So this is a very short-term resistance level, which it's really struggled under. So tap, 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 and now it's had this big daily close through that level. It's trying to hold above. Just needs to hold above on a daily time frame, but ultimately I want to see the weekly close up above that level. But if you just zoom out as well, this has been a series of lower highs and a big old downtrend. It's just broken out and it's coming back to try and form this base for a much higher push towards that 200-day moving average, I think at 174. If I just pop on up to the weekly, I find this a lot cleaner just to look at. It's very clear. So the 10 EMA on the weekly, I think next Monday, if we close through that 10 EMA and just remain through this blue level and close above that horizontal, which I had about 145, and I think this goes to 161, that type of region. Now, buying Solana is I think it's a really good spot to be getting really interested here and so into this support level. I want to see it hold on a daily time frame or two, like I said, 144. Now, the extent of where I'd be buying this is probably 139, 138. I don't want it to lose the bottom of this big green candle here and the 10 EMA. So if it starts to drift 138, daily close beneath this candle, I don't want to buy it. I think that's a danger zone for sure once it's there. But the structure here is building really, really nicely, and that's where I'd get interested for a move bit higher. LTC takes out the danger zone gong today. A lot of these dinosaur coins, I'm not sure whether they're ever going to come back. They absolutely can rally. I'm not sure whether it does, make an all-time high again. That's just my speculation. But if the price action responds and shows me that it's strong and there's a reason that it's moving, then I'll get back into it. But you can just see this price action here. Lower high, lower high, lower high, lower high. It just hasn't responded at all. And Litecoin's now flirting with a pretty serious horizontal that it just can't really recover. If it can do this and swap that and flip that from resistance into support, then I think you can make a case for it in the near term to run to say 87 to 100 level, let's say. But right now it is underneath that horizontal, and it's a very serious level. You can see how many times it's been hit over and over and over again, and it's running into it and using as resistance now. If this fails, if it runs into that 80 level and can't flip, 81, 82, I think it does something like this and then contends with these lower regions around 70, 68, 69, that type of situation. It's not a great chart to be looking at, and I just wouldn't be getting interested in something like Litecoin until it's maybe up here, like Solana, how it's kind of flipped this level already. And it's beginning to move higher. That's what I want to see, because buyers are really stepping on the gas. It's climbing that wall of worries, creating that staircase up. That's where I really want to get interested, but not touching Litecoin here. I think this is a very obvious danger zone. Invalidation rather is above that 81, 82 region. Some daily closes, weekly close above that level. Again, step out to the weekly if you're ever confused and worried about the noise. Clean it all up. Maybe I should clean it all up. Let's have a look at that. Yeah, super easy, super clean to watch here. Now, this horizontal, 81, 82, a weekly close back above, I think is really important. But you know what? You've got this 200-week moving average there, the 10 EMA just above. I'd be waiting for a weekly close through that level, to be honest. And maybe, if you want to be more conservative, wait for 87. But it's just not a chart I want to be getting interested in buying or longing or anything like that. I think this is a chart that looks weak and it needs to prove itself. So guys, have a wonderful day. We'll catch you again soon. See ya. Bye.